Welcome back to Understanding CBD. Love is our religion, whether it's Ziggy Marley or not, but love is our religion, certainly.
It's the most truest thing you've most ever said today.
100%. Welcome to segment 2 with our main guest. And, I'd like to just throw out our phone number. So if you'd like to call us in the next 45 minutes or so, the number to reach us here at the station is 410-922-6680. One more time, 410-922-6680. And our guest, whose chosen genre of music was reggae, and did we do a good job, I hope, is Rebecca Spain. Now, she's a fitness expert. She's a hemp advocate. She's got a blog called Reset and Restore. She's done a bunch of different things. Now, Rebecca, typically, we'd bring you in by asking you to introduce yourself, but I'm more interested, and the audience is interested in this. Now, nobody's going to be able to see this unless they check us out on the YouTube, but I'm actually waving and putting on. Rebecca was kind enough to give us a custom-made mask made out of hemp. So, Rebecca, what's the passion around hemp? What is it?
Well, I think as everyone probably already knows, besides the value in the CBD and our endocannabinoid system and how it, resets and restores our body, well, hemp also as a fiber resets and restores our land. It's healthier for our environment. It's less toxic than cotton, which causes us to use more water. And just kind of over the years, we've been a little bit toxic overall to our planet. So hemp is a way that can restore through the fibers. And there's so many uses through paper and clothing. So, we just took advantage of this time, I suppose, and helping people through making the hemp mask because they're more breathable for one, and also that they're more eco-friendly.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite masks to wear, admittedly. It's very breathable.
And thank you for sending the ones with our logo.
Yeah,
they're personalized for Max and Stevens. We appreciate that. Now, do you make these yourself, or what's your role in the mask part?
So I connected with the Hemp Foundation, which I'm working closely with, and they're based out of India in Uttarakhand, which is right on the foothills of the Himalayan mountains. And what we're doing is actually going into villages and helping these poor, impoverished farmers through hemp farming. Now that it's been legalized there about in 2017, but it's something that they grew years before, and then they got persecuted for it when it became, bunched in with its cousin as a drug. So they're going in to educate these farmers and helping them to say, hey, we can grow hemp and we can do this farming, and then we have a supply chain to be able to take these fibers and make clothing and other products such as hemp protein powder and paper and whatnot, and then market it for them, and at the same time help these farmers who have been actually migrating out of the area and COVID has been a big thing too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a few. Yeah, I was going to ask you a few questions about that, if you don't mind. One is hemp and cannabis grows wild in the Himalayan area, doesn't it?
Right. Yes, we have Himalayan hemp, and so there's some things going on there too with trying to further legalize it, because there's some loopholes where they want to introduce, like a foreign seed when the Himalayan hemp grows naturally and it's great for the environment there. So,
any good Yeti stories?
Have you been to the Himalayan mountains at all?
I have not been yet. I am itching to go, so very soon I will be there.
Well, that's, I always love to do as much research as I can when we have special guests on. So I did a little research and looked into a lot of the cultures and the opportunities and the lifestyle in that area. And it is, it's an area of much it's been a lot of combat for many years. But one thing I did learn was that the goats there have a special fur on their belly that it's like that's where like the super cashmere goat's from. Their fur is something like that. I wasn't sure if you were going to start making goats include any of those.
She's focusing on hemp.
but and also helping a lot of people in the community, which were interesting things. And to connect this all to Baltimore, you did teach some classes at Johns Hopkins, isn't that right?
Yeah, that was kind of the start of the reset and restore kind of movement. And I at Hopkins, I went in and I taught the employees that kind of sit at their desk and have a desk job how to reset and restore through movement. So that's what I did there.
Nice. And for those that are just tuning in, we're with Rebecca Spain, health coach, also helping the world with hemp, and has a great perspective and a lot of things we want to talk about. Now, the connection with CBD, especially with the reset and restore with your blog, can you tell us a little what's inspiring this, and how does CBD fit into that for you?
Well, I think what I was mentioning earlier, just how health-wise, how it's a reset for our neurotransmitter system, and it's a nutrient that we all need in our bodies. And just from my experience over the years, starting to implement and utilize more CBD myself, I've recognized how it's improved my own health.
What do you use it for, if you don't mind us asking?
What is that?
What do you use it for? CBD. If you're comfortable sharing, if not, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I use it for many reasons. I think for a holistic sense, but it does help for relaxation, to de-stress. It also helps to quicken the mind.
Uh-huh.
It's not just, there's different ways to use it, of course, and different strains and whatnot. But it helps you to be more clear, and especially for me, because I'm such an ideas person and such a kind of go-getter and taking action, and sometimes I have a big heart to be able to help people, and sometimes that can be really overwhelming in some ways. So having CBD helps me to de-stress and to relax and to come to clarity and whatnot.
Great.
Right. And on that same line, because that's one of the things that did stand out, is your ability to see clear through troubled times was important. And that's how Ho'oponopono came up. And mainly because you're from Hawaii, right? And you took class. Tell us a little about it, because I don't know if you had a chance to listen to our little demonstration at the beginning of walking through the process, but just explain it to the audience of what it is and really introducing it. What's been your experience with the secret ancient Hawaiian prayer? What do you say?
So Ho'oponopono, I think the ancient Hawaiians used it as a form of reconciliation. So whenever there was conflict within the community, they would come together and listen to each other and put out their grievances and offer their forgiveness and try to come to an understanding. So Ho'oponopono, there was a practitioner course that I actually took this year, I think in March or so. But I was always familiar with the term, but there's like some certification process. And with that, it's looking within yourself and taking responsibility for everything that's happened in your life, and kind of resetting, reflecting back on maybe some deep hurts or wounds, or, kind of stepping outside of yourself and looking at how you grew up, the environment, what shaped you, and kind of releasing all those things and resetting so that you can peel back the layers and come to new levels of your potential. So I did a lot of that, especially in the beginning of this year, and I think a lot of people did when we've had to be isolated and look more inside of ourselves, because often we get busy and we don't look inside and look at deeper roots that we kind of need to release, whether it's unforgiveness for our family or things. And when we're stuck inside and isolated, we start to reflect a little bit deeper, which I think is a good thing. So I did a lot of that too earlier this year, and I think the more that we can reset and restore within ourselves and take responsibility for everything, the greater potentials that we can reach.
Amen to that.
When you say, take responsibility for everything, I know at least when I first started and was introduced to it, was probably one of the hardest things to look at someone that you may have an issue with that appears to be in your way, and look at that as an internal challenge that you need to overcome and reflect it back to something that is really, in your experience and your perspective, is difficult. You got any advice for that for some beginners, or?
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. And as far as advice, just keep at it, keep digging, and keep releasing things. I think it's a process that you have to continually practice. And maybe one advice that I can give that has been useful for me, that's something that I've done since I was in college, is keep a journal and write out things. So one of the journal, a simple one that you can do is at the end of the day, write down what you've been thankful for from the day. So maybe if it's just 1 through 5, and you just write down something you reflect back in the day and write down something that you're thankful for. And that goes a long way, because you set your mind in a different place, and where you're always looking for the good. And then you'll start to see that even the bad things, or the things that, stress you out the most, are actually those blessings in disguise that challenge you, because we need the challenge. Mm-hmm. We need those challenging things to help us to see how we can overcome it and grow.
And open our eyes.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's really powerful. And we're, and from an instructor perspective, the 4 steps, really, from what I understand, can be done in not in any particular order. But the most important part is not necessarily just saying the words "I'm sorry" or "I love you" or "forgive me," but it's feeling it and knowing what that feels like. Right? Is that?
Yeah. Right. So the process is when you're saying "I'm sorry," it's like you're apologizing to the divine and the divine in you, and you're saying, "I'm sorry for all those things that are not who I truly am." So, and that's, I'm sorry for all those things or the things that I do that are not living true to who I am. And then that's a deep thing, like, who are you, right?
It's very big.
And taking those times to self-reflect and look at yourself, and am I the person that I want to be? Am I in line with what I'm created to be and what my divine purpose is?
Yeah, and that's powerful, and I really do. How can people, if they want more information, Becca, how can they connect with you? What's the best way for everybody to reach out?
I think just by email or text if somebody wants to reach out and set up a time to chat. My email is Becca, BEKA 77 coaching@gmail.com, and my phone number is 808-430-8887.
Awesome. Thank you, Becca. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for being a great guest, and Happy New Year.